Alright, this is a demo review for laggy McStab on our third scrim on process. We had 3 ringers for this, and our pocket was new to the team, even though he wasn't a ringer. So I'm probably not going to criticize a lot on team play or talk a lot about that, because it won't really apply to any other situation, because we're probably not going to play with most of these players ever again. I'll just talk about what you could have done better, really. Alright, I'm pretty sure it's not standard for you to have to use 2 rockets, and yeah, you shouldn't be messing that up. Try and practice your rollouts a little. Yeah, you definitely messed up your rollout, and I'm gonna quickly pause. I'll try not to do that too much, just so this doesn't end up super long. Right now you're at 86 health. Generally, you should be doing 1 rocket jump, not too far, just so that I can still heal you while we're sitting in the spawn room. And the 1 rocket jump should get you most of the way to the door. And then you can't mess up that rollout there. Okay, so 1, don't use 2 rockets in the spawn room. You lose too much health. Second, don't mess up the rollout, because you end up having to use more rockets than you should, and that gives you less health. And you shouldn't have this low health. That was my fault, but you also need to practice your rollout a little. So this situation, you should be ideally going for a health kit somewhere. You seem to be kind of waiting for heals from me. That was actually a pretty good play. Okay, hold on. Okay, so you should be going for a health kit. Soldiers have the most health, and they get the most health from a health kit. So team-wise, we as a team benefit the most if the soldiers are the ones taking the health kits, and the medics are healing like everyone else, right? Because if we have 1 medium health kit available to us, and a soldier gets it, that's 100 health for the team, versus 60 if a scout gets it. Also, as for that play, you waited for the heals and then jumped middle, but you didn't have any support for it. You should have waited. I mean, it was hard because you didn't have any health, so you couldn't go in before that, but at that point, when we've waited for that long, and you haven't taken high ground, and there's no one else on high ground, it would have been better for you to just wait, or get out of mid completely. Or maybe sack for their med, although their med was pretty well protected, so that doubtfully would have worked. Okay, here, they had good flashing, so not a lot you can do. It was definitely good for you to stay alive, but coming in here was a big mistake, because you could have bought us a ton of time, or a decent amount of time, and possibly stopped the cap if you bombed point. I don't know what that was. So in the future when they Uber in, either A, try and kill people on the flanks, or okay, and that was a really good rollout, good job. Either kill people on the flanks, or just wait and then bomb point. So yeah, really good job on the rollout. I don't know why you jumped there after he bombed you. Maybe work on your air shot DM a little, because that would have been useful. Also, our scouts didn't come up, so if a scout was there, it really would have helped you. Since there wasn't a scout, you kind of got wrecked. Just learn a little bit more how to deal with a soldier bombing you like that, because it'll happen a lot. Your rollout was great, and you got to mid before pretty much their entire team. So when that happens, it's even feasible for you to take the small health kit. That's another thing, that little health kit on that bridge, that's for you if you get there first, especially if you're a little down on health. But that's a situation where you could even think about since their whole if we had gotten players up there, you could have considered being even more aggressive. But as it was, you played that mid pretty well. And there, again, I don't know why you're sitting up in this room, because you were pretty useless. I mean, it kept you alive, but it also kept you from being helpful to the team. So, yeah, it looks like the first rollout might have been a fluke, and that left health kit, again, should have been yours. or the middle health kit, I suppose, just to the left of you. Like, when you are that early, that should be your health kit. So, as for the rest of the mid, I'll pause for a sec, just so I can, like, talk a little, because I got sidetracked. Not sure why you dropped off crates, especially into that close area, because that puts you at a lot of risk. Like, suddenly their scouts can just run up and meat shot you, and you're going to be eating spam from the demo. You definitely took a lot of damage there that was unnecessary. I think you went down for the health kit, but, like, there's a kit there that would have given you all the health you needed, really. Then, like, kind of just walked back through point, and, I don't know, like, the original decision to drop off wasn't great. And yeah, then you got bombed, and you did a pretty good job of, like, holding, like, you killed the guy who bombed you anyway. So I don't know, that wasn't awful on your part, or it was like not a bad mid really, except for the part where you dropped down. And I forgot to go back to first person. So alright. Yeah, maybe work on rocket jumping a little to get stuff crisper. Okay, so here, like, it would be good for you to... Alright, you're watching IT. Good. I was about to say. Good for you to watch IT. Yeah, like, as roamer, like, IT is often what you're going to watch on this hold, because our pocket wants to watch choke and sort of sewers. And, like, with your explosive damage, you can just walk in here and, like, be really effective since it's close space. Like, another thing to think about if IT is, like, sort of quiet like that, it's sometimes they won't watch IT, like, they'll make a big mistake and do that. If that happens, you can, like, aggress with a scout covering you in case they have got, like, 2 scouts waiting around that corner. Like, aggress with some help, sort of like that, and then if they're not watching IT, you can, like, jump in and possibly pick their med. And also, don't be afraid to, like, go to me for heals. Usually I'm going to stand in, like, the yard right below the entrance to IT, so if you're covering IT, it won't be hard for you to, like, get some overheal from me. I mean, honestly, like, you're playing this hold well, so... maybe, like, a little more vocal. Like, I don't remember if you were trying to say something in voice chat, but if you want heals like you do right now, like, yeah, there you go. Just, like, make sure to be vocal about it sooner. In a hold like that, there's no, where it's pretty quiet, there's no reason for you to have less than full health. Unless, like, if they're pushing and I'm trying to heal a ton of people, then yeah, but other than that, like... And you can, like, as the soldier, or especially as the roaming soldier, like, you're the one on the team who gets priority for health kits, so go for those too. Unless, like, the medic's right next to you and the medic needs it or something. The medic gets total priority on health kits, but you're second highest. Yeah, we had, like, a huge stalemate here. I don't really know. I mean, yeah. Like, in this situation, it's really good that you're not dying, but you could probably be playing a little more aggressive, especially because the thing that's going to break this stalemate is going to be a pick from us, right? So, like, if I were you, I would recommend being more aggressive in IT, like, trying to walk closer to, like, the entrance to IT, or their entrance, because they're not always going to be watching that, and when they don't, yeah, so that was a really bad Uber on my part, and, well, I got forced, actually, is what happened. So when they forced like that, like, I was, like, way far away from choke when that happened, so that's never a situation that's gonna, like, go well for our team, and, like, considering the Uber situation, you were a little too aggro into choke. It's also, like, sort of my bad because I should have flashed you, but, like, one option you had was, like, yelling at me, I'm gonna jump, so that way I would have known to just turn and flash you really quick so that you had Uber, as you like jumped into them. But like another thing to consider is just when we have an Uber like that, like we want to get something, but it's gonna be hard for us to get something, and they're gonna Uber as soon as we're done. So you need to like be aware of that. Say it's more on me though for not, like I should have flashed you more. Like by the time you got to choke, I think I was too far back, but good rollout. If you do a rollout like that and you need heals, stand still, like completely still. That's my signal to arrow you, and I will, and that saves us like both a ton of time. Yeah, you almost had a bad situation with those stickies. Here, like this is a situation where it's a well, I think we were about to push, like we wanted to push through here because we had Uber advantage. Okay. Yeah, you needed to jump, like jumping a little deeper. Definitely. Like on your first jump, you wanted to go deeper, but then you jumped into the middle of their team, and like that's not a good situation. Like once we have the spire, like that's our goal because it's the point and it gives us the high ground. So like you should have jumped the spire and tried to, and just like stayed there and spammed like right. Because okay, I'm gonna pause for a sec. From like spire, like I can demonstrate with this point. With like from spire, if their team is like around here, you can just like freely shoot down at them and like back up if you get low on health. Like there's no need for you to like jump from there down to here. That just puts you in a situation to die really quickly, especially when their whole team is there, and that's what happened. So like you need, like on pushes, you can't jump into the middle of their team. Like you want to be aggressive as the roamer and like trying to clear space and open space for the team, but never like jump into their team. And yeah, was I saying something else? No. Like your first jump, so your first jump you flubbed it a little. Your first jump should have put you on spire from choke. And then you wouldn't have had to like do any more jumps from there. Like just get onto spire. As long as their whole team isn't on spire. Yeah, see like their demo chased me into, yeah, see like I had to kill their demo there, if you look at the kill feed. And like that was a situation where like our pocket is down and most of our team is down, and like in situations where the pocket and the demo are both down, you have to become the pocket for a little while. So like if you see their demo chasing me, it's your job to kill the demo, because like fortunately their demo was low, and so I was able to just whack him with a crossbow and kill him. But in a lot of cases that won't be the case, or in a lot of situations it won't be the case. And in those situations, if I had died there, it would have been on you, because like I'm a medic, I really have limited options for defending myself, especially against a demo. So okay, there. It's a good choice to back out. One thing you can do when backing out that medics do is walk diagonally. What I mean by that is you still face towards the opponent, but you use your strafe keys and face like almost sideways, so you can just see them in the corner of their screen. Then when you fire your rockets, you just quickly flick your vision so it's on them again. That allows you to basically walk backwards while still not taking like a 10% speed reduction. That's just something to like think about. It didn't really cost us anything that you didn't do it, but yeah. As far as the push, I mean, they Ubered, we didn't have Uber, and you got out alive. So, I mean, it's about as good as you could have done. They're, like, so, you were aggro up in choke, and they pushed around, or in shutter, and in rollout, and they pushed through shutter, and you needed to, like, you didn't have a lot of overheal. Like, in fact, I think you were a little low on health up there. When they're about to push with Uber and we don't have Uber, or, well, we did have Uber, but even then, like, you shouldn't be playing super aggro in that situation where you know that they're about to push if you don't have a lot of health, because you had to use rocket, like a rocket jump, to get yourself out of that situation, and that left you with, like, not enough health to make a difference on the fight. so he just ended up dead. So like in the future, like get a health kit, or like play a little more passively with your med until you can, like until you have enough health that you can be that aggressive. Because when they're about to push, like you need to be at decently good health, or like pretty healthy, so that we have like a health advantage in the team fight, and you don't just get wrecked like you did. Alright, that was, yeah, generally good play. There, okay, like, let me see if I can, yeah, I can't free cam right now. So, like, just to give you an idea of what happened there, like, I'll try and, like, move forward in the demo so that we can see a little better. Basically, yeah, so what happened was they retreated back through choke so that they could like get out and then Uber back in, which they did. But their demo like kind of backed out, but then came back up here. You sat here and spammed him. If you had jumped him, you probably could have killed him. Like he didn't have any backup. He was out of position there, and as roamer, like positioning or punishing people that are out of position is something you do really well. They're Ubering in with a scout. I mean, you probably just shouldn't, like, it's not a good idea to challenge an Uber, especially when it's that close to you. Like, I don't want to, it's hard to say what you should have done, but just, like, jumping away for a moment probably would have been the best option. Because, like, staying there, all you had to shoot at was, like, an Uber target, and so you didn't really, or weren't really able to do anything. So, yeah, here it's just a hold we're building. Like, here, you should be holding closer to lobby, because, like, our demo and our pocket are both, like, they're both holding right side. They're both going to be watching you shutter. You don't need to watch that as much. Whereas lobby, like, they can push in or get aggro there, and it's a fairly confined space, so, like, not only can you give us intel, but you can also probably, like, get some good damage. And you have the ability to jump out if they try and do, like, a full lobby push. Yeah, like, near one of the lobby doors is a good positioning for you. And that way, also, if they don't cover lobby, you can come out, like, top of lobby, you can come out bottom lobby, you have, like, a ton of options, too. Like, get them. And I'm a god with the flashes there, as you could tell. There, like, you should have kept high ground. You, like, once you've got high ground, it's really good for a roamer to have high ground. That's where you want to be as the roamer, is above the opponent. Because it gives you options to jump, and it gives you, like, the ability to shoot down on them and all this stuff. So, like, unless, like, I think you could have kept challenging high ground there and been okay, as opposed to, like, just jumping off and getting killed. And, like, our pocket jumped on with you a second later, and I think he's, like, I'm pretty sure he went up there and survived, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, just think about that. I don't remember you calling sniper here, but maybe you did. But, like, just as a general rule, whenever you see a sniper, call it instantly, so that myself or, like, our demo doesn't walk into the sight line of the sniper by mistake. And you're also doing, like, a good job of harassing the sniper. Like, when you rocket jump up, it's obviously going to be tougher for him to hit you, and it'll generally, like, distract him, and then when the rockets come in, he can't really do a lot, so that's good work. I guess he must have just lagged out there, not really sure what happened. And then that jump was just a mistake. Or, well, yeah, it wasn't accidental, obviously, but you should, like, we couldn't contest that, and you just, like, jumped into the middle of their team for no reason. So, be a little more aware of, like, as a roamer, when to get out, and also be aware that, like, even as roamer, like, even though part of your job is to, like, try and bomb the medic and pick them, it's usually not going to work when the medic's surrounded by their whole team, unless their team sucks, which they don't in this case. Yeah. Okay. So, since they Ubered, it's definitely a good call to get out of there. Yeah, that was a good play there. Like, you challenged a bit, but once you saw the Ubered, you got out. Here, yeah. When the medic is alone with a soldier like that, and you've got, like, a bit of backup, that's the perfect situation for you to be bombing their med and trying to kill him. And you did, so. Okay, that was like an incredible play. I mean, myself, I wouldn't have gone for it, but I'm not a soldier. I don't play roamer for a reason. Yeah, obviously you died later, but still, like, the play itself, like, you got in, killed their medic, and then got out alive. Like, even if you hadn't gotten out alive, it still would have been a great play. And so, because of that play, we got mid, because they had no heals on mid, and now we're about to get second, because we have, like, big Uber advantage. So basically, that play was the reason why we got 2 points. For the most part. We might have gotten mid even without it, but anyway. Alright, here, you could have jumped Spire quicker, and not a good idea at all. Like, with little doorways like that, where it's wider on the other side, when you walk through, if you get hit by an explosive, you're not going to be able to get back through the door. Like, so when you walk through like that, if there's any explosive class on the other side, you're usually going to die. So in a like, that was just, like, too aggro on your part. You need to be more careful around that type of door. Like, shutter doors, too, can be really bad. Like, it would have been better for you to just, like, stand right outside that door and shot anyone who got into that space, and then you could have, like, done to them what they actually did to you and, like, juggled them in there. But yeah, too aggro, because you had no backup, and it was a stupid door. Our sniper just stole your kill. Just kidding, there's no kill stealing. No. Like, we didn't really have any hope of pushing there. I mean, I guess, like, that was kind of a force play on your part, and you did kind of force them, like, but they were gonna pop anyway. Yeah, really, like, that play wasn't worth it, because they were gonna pop anyway. Like, that's still a position they can get a good... So, like, okay, if you want to force them, you need to force them, like, far enough back that their Uber isn't really gonna go anywhere. So, like, if their medic's in a small space where they can't surf away from your rockets, or it's easy for you to just jump onto them, and they have Uber advantage, or, like, even if they don't, like, that's where you go for a force play. There, like, you just kind of jump through choke. We were playing far back from choke, so you had no support, and you didn't really know the positioning of their medic either. In fact, I think he had just come out of sewer, it looked like that. Like, if he hadn't come out of sewer, you never even would have gotten the force there. So, it would have been better for you to just, like, stay alive and be alive to defend the push, and, like you single-handedly you wouldn't have been able to stop their last push, but, like, you definitely could have made an impact, and there's a possibility that they wouldn't have gotten last off that play. Okay, that's... I know that's a popular, or a sort of popular thing to do with roamers, is, like, go for their choke, but, like, we got rolled on that mid, and you didn't really contribute at all. So, that's the type of play you can go for if their team is playing super far in front of their med, like rolling out really aggressively, and they've been doing it in the past few rounds, or like there's also a rollout I know that you can pogo into their choke. So like maybe if you're confident that you can get the med, then that's a play you would do. But in that situation, like not a good play. You kind of miss your rollout, and if you miss your rollout and land on point like that, either like jump back to the med or jump to a health kit, get some heals, and then jump to crates, or just jump straight to crates. Like being more aggressive when you've messed up is not the answer. That was actually a really smart play. Like medics usually aren't going to be flashing players behind them a lot, so if you jump over the Uber, like you can pick people like that. The problem is you got out DM'd by their soldier, so. Yeah, nothing like big there. So again, you like kind of mess up the rollout. Like here, okay. I'm gonna pause and go to third person. So, like you messed up your rollout, and like barely missed crates, right? That's not a huge deal. Like you can recover. Your move there is to generally like rocket jump to this kit, right? Takes you half a second. You get way more health out of it, and like that'll probably give you enough health to actually like get back up to where you were trying to go in the first place. Instead, you just kind of stood there, and like I kind of went over this when I demo reviewed for Eric. This is like not a great place to be on this mid, because you're gonna get wrecked by anyone above you. You're generally gonna get wrecked by anyone in those fields. You're gonna get wrecked by anyone on these health kits because they're also above you. Like this is the low ground for the entire mid, like the lowest point, and that's never where you want to be in a game where height is an advantage. And especially as a class like Soldier, where height is like a serious advantage, and it's a lot like you have a serious advantage over anyone that you're above, and a disadvantage if you're below them. So like hanging out in the whole, like you never want to hang out here, but you did. So then because you didn't go to like pack, you were pretty quickly forced out of the low ground just because it's such a disadvantageous position. And then you ended up being forced to jump onto crates with no health because like the pack had been taken and there were people there. Like you should have just jumped straight to pack the moment you knew you were going to mess up your rollout. Or the moment like you messed up your rollout basically. You should have gone straight to a health kit and gotten health. Because like you ended up having to jump onto crates anyway. But the fact that you didn't get a kit made it so you didn't have enough health to like play up there. Once you didn't have the kit and got forced out, like instead of, the other thing is like, at the point where you hadn't gotten the kit and you were getting forced out of the low ground, okay, you shouldn't have peeked that at low health. So yeah, like at the point at which you needed, so on the mid, I'm still stuck on that, I know. Like the point at which you needed the kit, or you hadn't gotten the kit, like you shouldn't have tried to contest anymore because you didn't have enough health. Like the best thing for you to do would have been to jump, like, to sewer maybe, or to, like, choke or something. Like, just try and get heals and get out. Or at least, like, get heals, and then if our team seems to be doing well, you can jump back in, but we weren't, so. Yeah. Like, just think as roamer, you have generally the second highest priority for any health kit. Like, as a medic, my heal order is generally going to be, for most situations, I'm going to heal demo, then I'm going to heal the scouts, and then, like, probably, like, the pockets generally are already going to have a lot of heals, because whenever I'm not healing other people, I'm probably healing him, or I am healing him. So, like, you're often going to be last as far as, like, who I'm going to prioritize healing, which means that you also, like, aren't going to be near me a lot, so that means that you're going to be, you basically have the second highest priority below the medic on the team for health kits. Obviously, that's situational, like, if there's someone at 3 health, they need it more than you, but don't be afraid to get health kits. And, like, if you have a choice between health kit and medic, go for the health kit, unless you want an overheal, or, like, the health kit isn't enough. Alright, yeah. So now you should be... Alright, you're getting healed, so... Like, you can peek shutter here. I don't know why you're just standing there. Like, just open it up. Like, walk towards it to the point where it opens and then back up. That way you can check whether there's stickies. But you just kind of sat there in front of it, and that was too passive. So, alright, I'll explain that for a sec. Like, you're standing in front of shutter, just kind of staring at the wall. Like, if you had gone through, maybe you could jump around and get a pick. I don't know. Or if you had, like, peeked and not seen anything and just gone back, you probably could have, like, been a bigger influence. But as it was, you just kind of walked back around, and they'd already pushed in with crits, so you just died. Like, you either should have tried to make a, like, look through shutter. You wouldn't have seen anything because they were all over here. So you should have, like, either looked through shutter and then tried to make a play, or not been there in the first place. Like, generally, you, as roamer, like, you don't need to be in the combined, like, rollout / shutter area, because that's going to be covered by the pockets, or the pocket in the demo, unless they're dead, in which case, yeah, you can be there. Alright, so, to sum it up, if they're, like, it's, like, a roamer aggressiveness is hard. You've definitely got, like, the aggro part down. You just need to, like, tone it back a little and be a little smarter with it. Like, you're at the level where your aggro is good, and, like, you're not too passive, usually, but, like, you need to tone it back in a lot of situations. So, for example, there are multiple times where you jumped their whole team, and yeah, their medic probably looks juicy and enticing and 150 health in the middle of their team, like 2 rockets, but if their medic can surf, he's going to get out of there when your first rocket hits. Like, your first rocket can launch him, like, across an entire point if he surfs it well. Even if he doesn't surf it well, it's going to be hard for you to get a follow-up rocket, especially if they've got, like, 2 people air-shotting you, and the scouts are going to, like, knock you out of the air, too. They don't even, like, they only have to do 40 or 50 damage to mess up your whole jump. And once you hit the ground, and that, like, when you're bombing into their team, you're going to be dead the moment you hit the ground, usually. Either a fall damage or the fact that you're falling into their whole team, like scouts and all. So just, like, when you're deciding whether to jump, if you see, like, 2 people plus a medic is not a great jump unless you're pretty confident about it or they're low health. Like, 3 people plus the medic is usually a no-go. Like, so you can't jump that, really. As far as, like, stalemate situations go, you need to be more aggressive in those situations. Obviously, like, you can't die, so you shouldn't be aggro unless you've got a bit of overheal or at least at full health. But, for example, when we were holding second, like, you can be aggro in IT and, like, just make sure they've got someone covering IT at all times. Like, force them to either have someone covering IT or, like, you making a play out of IT and probably picking their med. Like, okay, so if you bomb their whole team from the front, you're gonna die. If you can, like, jump their med from the back, like, through IT, if their med's a choke or whatever, you can usually pick the med. Especially, like, the med won't be paying attention. The med can't surf out of that. The rockets are going to be hitting behind him, and if he surfs it, he's going to go through choke into our team. So, like, that's a lose-lose for him. And if you tell them, like, there's sometimes even a potential for you to coordinate with, like, a push from us. So, like, you're coming from behind, and they're all confused, and suddenly we're, like, being really aggro and choke. So, you know, it's like a pincer move. Mids, like, practice your rollouts a little. They were mostly fine. If you mess up a rollout, get health and then be aggro. Don't, like, wait around, and don't be aggro without health. And yeah, get more health kits. Like, that should be more your primary source of health. So yeah, other than that, like, honestly, your roamer play is pretty good. Like, it was mostly solid. One other thing would be, if we're obviously going to lose the situation, like, just jump out. Like, you can, if you hit, like, I mean, okay, so a rocket jump away is going to cost you like 20 to 25 health. So like you can wait till you're pretty low and then get out with a rocket jump. But it's not hard. Like if you have 60 health, that's a situation, like 60 health is where you should be for sure dipping from a situation, even like more than that, like 80 health. Because there you're going to get killed by like a scout, like semi-scout meat shot, like medium range scout shot that's aimed well. Like a single rocket will kill you easily. Any demo man projectile will kill you. Like that's the health range where you're like you want to get a health kit, and but that's not, like at that health range, which is like 50 to 80, you can also do like a 2-jump pogo, right? With the gunboats. So like on mids when you've got that much health, like your first thought is to try and get a health kit. Second thought is jumping to mid, and then if we're getting rolled off mid or like there's or like because I'll back out as medic. I'll back out if 2 of us die and they're all still up. Like if 2 of us go down and we're at like a 2-player disadvantage, that's the point where I as the medic dip. So like if you see like I'm dipping or just we're not doing well on mid, or someone calls to get out and you've got like 80 health, like don't try to contest anymore. You can just like pogo out of mid and survive. So yeah, other than that, like I was honestly pretty impressed. You had some really solid plays, and like there were very few situations where what you did was completely wrong. Like bombing into their whole team, maybe. But like there were no situations where I was just where I had no idea why you did what you did or like what you were doing. Alright. So yeah. Overall, pretty good job.